Hey, I'm Darcy. I record and produce music in a studio out in Gippsland called Secondary Studios. Take local bands and help them with their songwriting, and then at really low budgets try and get them up to scratch with professional sounding releases. I like to really get hands-on with the songwriting because I find I think that's the most important part, and I think with new bands they often have not necessarily a mind for the total song. They don't think in terms of they'll write a cool solo or whatever, but they may not think about what serves or suits the song as a whole and what people really listen for. So I like to try and polish things up and piece together things, cut big sections that they maybe are going too far overboard or whatever. But I really do like to focus on songwriting because I feel like it's the most important thing. And then from there I move into the recording and mixing stage and things like that, and just sort of do a little bit of artist development for artists who've never recorded before or things like that. The feeling of watching a song come together and being able to sort of do a rough mix or do a first mix and then play it to the client and have them just sit there and be it's just it's probably one of the most I don't know, I think that feeling of just showing them what their music really sounds like and helping. I think the way I like to think about it is translating what's in their head into coming out through the speakers. They can really listen to what they wanted it to sound like, where they have it exactly the way they want it. And I think being able to actually do that for them is probably one of the most rewarding things. So I think that's what got me into it, got me hooked on it. There's not really as many potential clients as living somewhere up in the city. A lot of my clientele is from the city, but I like to try and find stuff from the local area because I guess it's better to sort of nurture that community and build it up. But yeah, there's lots of struggle with that. I mean, I guess your overhead costs are a lot lower because most people, when they have studios and things like that, are renting. So out in Gippsland, it's a lot cheaper, but there's obviously that massive downside or the drawback of having less of a potential client base. So yeah, there are some drawbacks to being in Gippsland for sure, but I think there's also some advantages as well. I mean, I'll find that at my price range and at the level that I'm operating, I don't think there's anyone comparable in the near, within 100 kilometers of me. I think there are some engineers that are upmarket and quite a bit more expensive in my area, but maybe no one who fits the sort of new upcoming band niche. So I feel with a little bit more refinement that I could really stand out quite easily in Gippsland as a potential place to go for new bands who want to record and things like that, and have good quality recordings, but can't really fork out for big time budget studios and things like that. I kind of enjoy working with people who have a little bit of preparation and a little bit of an understanding, but it's also really easy when someone's never done it before to give them kind of a sense of what to expect in the future if they go and move on to bigger studios and things like that. Because I don't know, sometimes bands, they'll do their own self-recording and they'll pick up some I don't know, bad habits about how to record things, that'll do or this will do or whatever. And I kind of have to work back and refine it more and be no, you kind of have to play it tighter than this, or else it won't sound great on the record. Currently it's part-time for me. I do have other work to supplement income because I mean, starting out as a freelance engineer is pretty hard, and the hours and things like that, and finding work and keeping it regular. I think that's my goal, is to do this full-time for a living, wake up Monday to Friday every day and help bands write songs and record them.